Imagine dominating a professional cricket match for 36 out of 40 overs. You have a 99% win probability.
Right.
The opposing captain looks like he's already mentally boarding the flight home. And then, in the span of just 24 deliveries, you completely dismantle your own team. That is exactly what the Punjab Kings did last night against the Delhi Capitals. Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to watch.
Today, our mission is to dissect one of the most baffling, logic-defying matches of this 2026 IPL season. We are looking at a Punjab team that was in utter control, only to suffer a catastrophic fourth consecutive loss.
And on the flip side, a Delhi squad that somehow pulled off a miracle comeback to throw the entire playoff race into absolute chaos.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because you can't really grasp the sheer scale of Punjab's collapse without looking at the altitude they were flying at just a few weeks ago.
They were playing a different sport entirely at the start of the season. Like, if you look back at their first 7 matches, Punjab put on a historic clinic.
Yeah, 6 wins, 1 washout.
It's exactly. Banking 13 points right out of the gate.
Yeah.
They weren't just beating teams. They were dismantling them.
It was pure, unadulterated dominance. I mean, the consensus among the pundit class, MSK specifically went on record with this, was essentially, let's save everyone some time and just give the cup to Punjab.
Right. They looked that invincible.
But fast forward to this morning, and they are in a complete free fall. 4 straight losses. The analysts are calling it an absolute anticlimax. I actually read a breakdown this morning that described Punjab's current state perfectly.
Oh, what did it say?
It said they are acting like a car that puts its right indicator on, but then violently swerves left into oncoming traffic.
I love that metaphor.
It's so accurate, right?
What's fascinating here is having an unbeaten streak is a lot like driving a car with terrible alignment on a perfectly straight highway. You think you're a brilliant driver, you're cruising.
Yeah.
But the second the road curves, or, the second a team like Delhi actually pushes back, that underlying mechanical flaw yanks you right into the ditch.
So the momentum was masking some very severe foundational cracks.
100%.
I have to stop you there, though, because people keep talking about underlying flaws and the pressure of the losing streak. I don't buy that this is just psychological pressure.
Really? Why not?
Well, how do you control the steering wheel for 90% of a match and then just drive off a cliff? You don't just forget how to play cricket in the 16th over.
You don't forget how to play, no. But your mechanics break down when you lose trust in the guys around you. And the primary mechanical flaw for Punjab hasn't been their batting or even their core bowling.
It's their fielding.
Exactly. It's their fielding. They have dropped more catches than any other franchise this season. Shawshank alone has dropped 6.
6. Wait, in professional T20 cricket, giving a batter 6 extra lives is suicidal.
It is. Think about the mechanics of what a dropped catch does to a bowler. You run in, you hit your length perfectly, you induce the false shot you've been planning for 3 overs, and the fielder shells it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The next ball, the bowler subconsciously tries too hard. They overpitch, they bowl wide. The entire geometry of the over changes because the trust is gone.
Okay, let's talk about the geometry of this specific match, because the physical environment was dictating a lot of those errors. They were playing up in Dharamshala,
which is a massive factor.
Right. Beautiful stadium, high altitude, but the temperature plummeted to 13 degrees Celsius.
And 13 degrees in the foothills of the Himalayas isn't just chilly, it triggers a massive dew factor.
Right. Let's explain the mechanics of that for a second for anyone listening. When that cold air hits the grass, the outfield turns into a slip and slide. The leather cricket ball acts like a sponge.
It absorbs all that moisture.
Yeah, it swells up and becomes slick. Suddenly, gripping the ball to bowl of variation or catching a flat-hit drive in the outfield, it feels like trying to grab a wet bar of soap.
Which fundamentally altered the batting strategy from the jump. Punjab batted first, and they knew that dew was coming. They also knew that in the middle overs, as the pitch gets a bit tacky and the ball gets softer, timing becomes a nightmare. You cannot easily hit through the line.
So they made a calculated decision to explode early before the mechanics of the game changed.
Precisely.
And their power play execution was flawless. I mean, they smashed 72 runs in the first 6 overs. Priyanshu Arya was playing the sheer aggressor, taking wild, successful swings at everything.
While Captain Shreyas Iyer played the anchor. He just rotated the strike, holding the innings together so Arya could go nuclear.
It was brilliant pacing, but Delhi deserves credit here too.
Oh, absolutely. From over 7 to over 15, Delhi completely choked the life out of that innings. They recognized the ball was getting soft, they pulled back their lengths, and they only allowed 77 runs in that massive 9-over block.
But Delhi couldn't maintain the chokehold forever. We have to talk about that wild sequence in the death overs that pushed Punjab over the 200-run mark.
That was unbelievable.
Right. I was watching Mitchell Stark in the 19th over, and it was absolute theater. Stark is bowling thunderbolts. He gets Marcus Stoinis and Shashank Singh on back-to-back deliveries.
He's on a hat trick. The crowd is deafening.
And then Shajai steps to the crease, and on the very next ball just launches Stark into the stands for a massive 6.
Pure chaos.
But it got Punjab to a highly competitive total.
A total that absolutely should have won them the game, especially if you look at how Delhi started their chase. But that brings us back to the wet ball and the fielding.
Yeah.
When you know the ball is going to skid and your bowlers are struggling for grip, your fielders have to be a brick wall.
Which Punjab definitely wasn't. I mean, Suyash dropped a massive early catch off Axar Patel, but again, I'm going to challenge the narrative that the dew made catching impossible.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, Marco Jansen ran backward and took a phenomenal catch over his shoulder. Perhaps Imran plucked a great one out of the air, too. It wasn't impossible. Suyash's drop felt like panic, not just a slippery ball.
That's a fair point. I wouldn't dismiss the dew entirely, but you're right that it's an incomplete excuse. The panic is the real story here. And nowhere was that panic more obvious than in the tactical breakdown of Punjab's captain, Shreyas Iyer. The decisions he made in the second innings will be studied in coaching clinics for years as a masterclass in what not to do.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because watching Iyer manage his bowlers was like watching someone spend their entire month's salary on a Tuesday.
That is exactly what it looked like.
You look like a high roller for 48 hours, but when Friday night rolls around, you are completely bankrupt.
Let's set the stage for why he panicked in the first place. Delhi had a disastrous start to their chase. They only managed 47 runs in the power play and lost 3 crucial wickets.
Including Rahul?
Including Rahul, because Arshdeep Singh was bowling with absolute venom for Punjab.
Arshdeep was unplayable. So Punjab has Delhi on the ropes, struggling to breathe. And in a desperate bid to just deliver the kill shot right then and there, Iyer decides to bowl out his premium pace weapons.
Arshdeep Singh and Marco Jansen, both done by the 16th over.
Right.
And look, Arshdeep's 15th over was a mechanical masterpiece. He didn't concede a single boundary. He tied Delhi up so completely that when the over ended, Delhi needed 68 runs from the final 5 overs.
Which is huge.
Statistically, chasing 68 off 30 balls on a big ground is nearly impossible.
Wait, I have to jump in here. Arshdeep bowled a masterclass, sure. But isn't that exactly why you save him for the 19th over?
You would think so, yes.
Using your best death bowler in the 15th over makes zero sense to me. You are leaving the hardest part of the game to your weakest links.
Iyer was gambling on the psychology of the batter. He figured if he broke their spirit in the 15th over, the game would be over mentally, and the death overs wouldn't matter.
Wow, that backfired.
Terribly. He miscalculated the pitch conditions. Because he used his premium pacers, he had to hand the ball to Marcus Stoinis and Yash Thakur for overs 16 through 20.
And the numbers are agonizing. Over 16, 17, and 18 went for 15, 17, and 19 runs.
Delhi just went ballistic.
Stoinis bled 44 runs in his 3 overs, and Thakur gave up an eye-watering 55 runs in his 4.
Let's break down exactly why that happened.
Right.
When you ask a medium-pace all-rounder like Stoinis to bowl at the death with a wet ball, you're stripping away his entire arsenal.
Because he can't grip it.
Right. He can't grip the ball with the bowl cutters. He can't bowl a deceptive, slower ball because it will just slip out of his hand as a full toss. He essentially becomes a bowling machine.
Just feeding the batters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feeding a slick ball onto the bat at roughly 130 kilometers per hour, which is the exact speed T20 batters dream of facing.
He was serving up batting practice.
This raises an important question about Shreyas Iyer's captaincy.
Yes. Because earlier in the season, there was an intense media campaign suggesting Iyer should be picked for the Indian national team over Surya Kumar Yadav purely because of his tactical leadership.
And this match completely torpedoed that argument.
Right.
Because his mismanagement wasn't just about overbowling Arshdeep. It was about who he completely ignored.
Oh my gosh, yes. Not a single over of spin was bowled by Punjab in that innings. 0.
Which is insane.
I had to refresh the ball-by-ball data 3 times this morning to make sure it wasn't a glitch. Isvendra Chahal, the highest wicket taker in IPL history, a guy with a PhD in outsmarting batters, didn't bowl a single delivery.
I mean, I understand the fear of bowling a wrist spinner when the ball is wet. If Chahal can't grip the ball to turn it, it just skids straight onto the bat.
Right. It's risky.
But completely ignoring your most experienced international bowler while your backup pacers are getting carted into the stands is inexcusable. To give you some historical context.
Yeah.
This was the first time since roughly 2008 that an entire IPL match was bowled solely by fast bowlers.
Wait, really? Since 2008?
Yeah. Even Delhi didn't give Axar Patel a single over of spin in the first innings.
Which is mind-blowing. But while we can talk all day about Punjab handing the game away, Delhi actively kicked the door down and stole it.
They did.
And the guys who executed the heist were the last people you would expect.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the beauty of franchise cricket mechanics. Tournaments aren't won solely by the multi-million-dollar international superstars. They are won by domestic grinders and out-of-form veterans who suddenly find their mechanics when the team's back is against the wall.
Exhibit A, Axar Patel. The guy had been in a brutal slump. I mean, it took him 20 innings just to register an IPL 50. 20.
That is a long time in T20 cricket.
And yet, when the top order collapsed and the required run rate was climbing into the stratosphere, he completely anchored that middle order fight back. And then David Miller walked out.
Miller scored 42 runs in this match. That is more runs than he had scored in the entire rest of the tournament combined.
Where does a performance like that even come from?
It comes from muscle memory taking over when the conscious brain stops overthinking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Miller stopped worrying about his tournament form and just reacted to the ball. He and Ashutosh Sharma, who played a vital stabilizing role, by the way, simply exploited the fact that Punjab's part-time bowlers couldn't hit their lengths.
But Delhi's unsung heroes actually started doing the work in the first innings.
I did.
We talked about Stark and Lingji and GD earlier, two of the most feared international quicks in the world. And they were getting absolutely pummeled by Punjab's top order.
So who stepped up to stop the bleeding? Aqib Nami. He comes in to bowl the final over of the power play, the most dangerous over, when batters are set and swinging at everything.
He gives away exactly 2 runs.
2 runs.
2 runs. And then you have Madhav Tiwari, a domestic all-rounder from Madhya Pradesh playing in only his second ever IPL match.
Stepping right into the fire.
He comes into the attack while the international legends are getting taken apart, bowls with pinpoint control, changes the momentum, and ends up winning man of the match.
It proves a fundamental truth about T20 cricket. Adaptability beats raw reputation every single time. Delhi's domestic players adapted to the conditions. Punjab's international stars panicked.
So, what does this catastrophic collapse mean for the broader landscape of the league? Because I was looking at the points table this morning, and it is a mathematical nightmare.
It really is. I mean, if Punjab had just held their nerve and won this match, they would have vaulted straight into first place, jumping right over Bangalore.
Oh, wow.
The top spot was in their hands. Now, with only 3 matches left on their schedule, they are trapped in a dogfight just to qualify.
And depending on whose math you trust this morning, the bottom of the table is just as confusing.
Yeah, the reporting is all over the place.
But I want to point this out to you listening because I was reading through the qualification scenarios, and some of the source materials claim that both the Mumbai Indians and the Lucknow Supergiants are officially eliminated. But then other models state that only Mumbai is mathematically dead and Lucknow is actually still hanging by a thread. I am not taking a side on which math is correct here, but the fact that the analysts can't even agree just shows you how insanely compressed this table is.
Regardless of the exact decimal points at the bottom, the undeniable reality is that 8 teams are still legitimately fighting for a playoff spot.
That is wild.
To have 8 teams alive this late in May is virtually unprecedented.
The margin for error has totally evaporated. Look at the bottleneck in the middle of the standings. There is exactly a 1-point difference separating the Punjab Kings in 4th, Chennai in 5th, and Rajasthan in 6th.
1 single point.
Just 1 point.
And trajectory is everything right now. While Punjab is trapped in this 4-game death spiral, Kolkata is doing the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah, KKR.
They have quietly ripped off 4 consecutive wins.
Yeah.
They are finding their perfect mechanical alignment at the exact right moment.
It's the mirror image of Punjab. And looking at the immediate road ahead, we've got a massive clash coming up between Hyderabad and Gujarat.
That's going to be huge.
The early data gives Hyderabad a slight advantage with the bat, but Gujarat holds the edge with the ball. Whichever way that swings, it's going to violently shuffle the standings again.
Every match from this evening onward is effectively an elimination game. The baseline pressure of the tournament has just doubled.
Yeah.
And as we saw with Shreyas Iyer in Dharamshala, pressure finds the hairline fractures in your strategy and splits them wide open.
We started this deep dive talking about momentum. Punjab was a bullet train in week 3, and now they are completely derailed.
Yep.
So what does this all mean? It leaves me with this thought that I want you to mull over as we head into the final brutal stretch of this tournament.
Okay.
Is peaking early in a high-stakes league actually a psychological curse?
Ooh, interesting.
Right. When a team starts out winning 6 of their first 7 games, when every tactical gamble works and the pundits are preemptively crowning you champions, do you lose the calluses needed to survive?
The resilience.
Exactly. Maybe in franchise sports, early failure isn't a disaster. Maybe early failure provides the exact friction a team needs to figure out how to stop themselves from driving off a cliff when the real pressure arrives. Keep a close eye on the points table. It's only going to get wilder from here.